Welcome back to Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. If you like this channel, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Today, this episode goes out to Matilles, who asked Uncle Dan, how did you do whole chicken? So we're going to do whole chicken. We got our vegetables prepared. We're going to use an orange juice, lime, salt, pepper, garlic. And so we're going to make this marinade, and then we're going to let it sit overnight. And then after that, we'll smoke it on the Twin Eagles outside. Okay, we got our onions, we got our orange juice, our lime juice, our rosemary, we got our sage, we got our black peppercorns. So now we're gonna get this heated, and once we get it heated and it gets to a boil, we're gonna let it boil for about 2 minutes. All right, now we got it boiling, and so it's been boiling for about 2 minutes. So I'm gonna take this off, and then we're gonna let it sit until it cools down. All right, now I got our chickens. I let it cool down, added some ice, put our chickens in here. And if you noticed, I have the legs sticking up. That way the breasts are fully submerged down into the brine. So I'm gonna let this sit overnight, and then we'll pull it out tomorrow. We'll truss it and get it ready to go. All right, so we're the chicken's out of the brine. Once you get the chicken out, just kind of damp it with a paper towel. Take all that extra liquid off. We're gonna truss this chicken. And so you see the skin that's here on the breast meat. And what we want to do is, when we truss this, we want to make sure that our skin covers that meat to protect it. So that way you get nice, juicy breast meat inside your whole chicken. So I got a piece of string here, just, normal kitchen string. And so what I like to do is, I like to go under the chicken, start there, okay? And just even it out on both sides. Make a simple crisscross knot, just like this, right? And then here, go underneath the breasts, like this. So you have a crisscross knot, and now you're pulling that skin. Do you see how we're pulling that skin over that breast meat? By pulling it from this side, around the back of the legs, over this breast meat here, so we protect that. And then we'll go back down, we'll go around the wings, right? Hold those wings together, okay, like so. And then we'll cross it here. Cross these wings. I didn't do it right here. Cross these wings. Hold it nice and tight. So the wings are tight. Then we're going to flip her over. Get it here. Once we have it here, we're going to come out around the legs on both sides, around the legs. Okay? And then we'll finish it off right here. And that way it's nice and tight on the chicken. And then for us to hang it, get a couple knots in here. You can cut this excess off with a kitchen scissors. So now we have this nice opening. We want to fold this down, and we want to bring these legs over. And so the legs are going to actually pinch that breast together. So what happens is, when we hang it, we don't dry out our breasts. And that's what gives it a really good. So we're going to do the legs. We'll take the string, put it under here, under the breast again, come around the legs of the chicken, come up here, around the legs, up here, go around this side of the chicken leg, around this side of the chicken leg, and then bring them together. And what I like to do is I like to cross them like this. That way you get a nice hang for when we're going to smoke these chicken. And this has to be super tight. So when you make your knot here at the feet, make sure they're crossed like so, and then squeeze, make it super tight on this end when you make your knot, because that's where we're going to hang the chicken. And so now you got this extra chicken, extra string. You can go ahead and just cut it. The simple old kitchen shears. And I did this one same way. I just cut it with the So that way it's not hanging out everywhere. So this is how you truss it. Now that the chicken's ready, like so, what we do is, these are the hooks for smoking on the Twin Eagles. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hang these chickens by this hook, like so, and this is how they're gonna hang. Right, you see all that marinade still dripping out? So this is how we're gonna smoke them when we hang them in the Twin Eagles. So now that we got them all trussed, both of them trussed, let's we'll go get the Twin Eagles fired up and we'll show you how to put them on. All right, now we have them out here nice and trussed. So we're gonna take some olive oil. We're just gonna make sure that both sides are nice and covered. And then for a little special seasoning that I have that I like to put on the outside of these, because we're going with that citrus, with that orange juice marinade. So we just want to coat these up, nice and coated. And then once we get them nice and coated, both sides here, rub it around. I like to take some Tangerine and just kind of go over the top, give it that nice lemon seasoning over the top. Actually lemon. And then it has, just kind of coat it really on both sides. That way that skin has that oil on it, gives it a nice good smoke on that oil, on that skin, and then this Tangerine gives it that nice lime flavor. So all right, so now we have them. We're ready to hang. So like I was saying earlier, we're just going to take the hook, put it on the legs, and we're going to take it on here, and then we're going to hang it. So there's one, right? And then we'll hang this other one. Like so, and we'll just hang them. Then we'll let them smoke. Maybe I'll move this one over. Give it some room, right? And give it some room from the edge. And then we'll just smoke our 2 chickens. So we'll give it about 3.5 hours. And then we'll come back and take a look and we'll test it. We want the inside temperature of the chicken to be 165. And so let's let them smoke and we'll show you what they look like. Thanks again for joining Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. Welcome back to Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. If you like this channel, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Today we're going to be making Brazilian picanha on the grill, 2 separate ways on the Twin Eagles. And let me take a quick look and let me show you inside the grill and how we're going to use real lump charcoal inside of our Twin Eagles. So come on inside. So inside here is the pellet plate. So we have the pellets. We got our tray. So the Twin Eagles comes with the insert trays like we had the sear plate. So now we're going to use the lump charcoal. So we're going to put this lump charcoal in. We're going to get our grill up to temp. And then we'll start prepping our picanha. All right, now the best thing we could do is get us a nice good piece of picanha. And H-E-B had it on sale for Prime. So I got a nice big piece of picanha. And we're going to try it 2 different ways. So as the Twin Eagles gets the charcoal going, what we're going to do is we're going to slice it along the long side here. Let me turn this around for you. So we're going to slice this about, I would say about 1.5 inches, and just go down the picanha and leave this nice fat cap layer on here. See how it's nice and marbled? We're going to melt that and going to give us our flavor. So once we're going to get a cup about 1.5 inches thick, I like to do is I like to cut down through here, get a couple, and then we're going to do 2 seasonings today. We have the traditional Brazilian salt, right? So we're going to use some of the traditional Brazilian salt, and we'll put it on here, pat it in, flip it over, start getting it seasoned, right? And then I want to try some of this new salt that we got from our friends over at Smoke Seasoned Salt. This is the black Hawaiian lava salt. So we're gonna try that today on our picanha. So we're gonna put that on there just like we do our Brazilian salt. Get it nice and seasoned on both sides. All right. Get it nice and seasoned, pat that salt in. So while that salt's resting, we're gonna do two things, right? I'm gonna do some on the skewer today on the smaller end of this picanha. And for the big end, we're gonna put it on the rotisserie. So we got our lump charcoal going, we'll put our rotisserie in, and we're gonna rotisserie our picanha. So what we wanna do is we wanna get our picanha nice and tight as we can, and have the fat on the outside of the picanha, so that when we put it down on here, our fat side is going to be, as we start rotisserieing, our fat side is going to be on the outside. So as it rotisseries, right? And I'll put this, I'm going to put one side the lava salt and one side the typical Brazilian salt. So we're going to do this. I'm going to cut down here a little bit, just in the middle. That way it allows this meat to bend. So when we get it on here, we get a nice, good C-size shape. So just like this. So we get a nice C-size shaped. So as that rotisserie happens and we start cooking, that fat gets hit with that high temperature heat, and that fat starts to render down into our meat and give us our nice, good flavor. So that's what we're going to do today. So let me get this all prepped up and we'll get ready. All right, here we go. We've had it on here for only about 6 minutes, and as you can see, we're starting, that fat on that cap is starting to get rendered, starting to get nice and juicy, and so that's kind of what it looks like. All right, now here we go. We got our temperature probe. Let's see what our temperature looks like. All right, 130. Here we're at 140. Here we're at 135. All right. Let me get these off the grill. I can clearly tell you the smoked seasoning salt, black Hawaiian lava salt, this is the best over the Brazilian standard seasoning salt on this picanha. And I also agree, not so much on the rotisserie, but on just the spit. That is the best way to cook picanha on a Twin Eagles 36-inch charcoal grill. Thanks again for watching Uncle Dan Backyard Barbecue. We'll see you next time. Welcome back to Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. If you like this channel, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Today we're going to be doing some chicken wings on the Twin Eagles, and then we're going to sauce them. So we got our garlic parmesan, we got our black magic, our buffalo sauce. I really like this sauce. And we got our chipotle. So the first thing we're going to do is, so I got our wings laid out here, and I'm going to just take a little bit of seasoned salt, and just give them a little dash of some salt, and I like to give them a little dash of pepper just to get them nice and peppered. So a little light coat, give them some, and we'll just rub these around a little bit, move them around here. And so I have the insert in today, like when we did our Tomahawk steak. So I'm going to move these wings to our grill, put them on here. Put them on here, move them around. And I like to put these with the skin side up on the half size on the wings, and then the drummies, you can do them any way you want on the drummies. But I like to
on the wing sides, I like to pull those so that the skin side is sitting up as we spread these out here. We got the Twin Eagles at 400 today. So we're going to start frying these up, and then once we get them up to about 145 inside, we'll use our instant thermometer on these wings. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take them off of here, and depending on how many we need, right, we're going to put the different sauce in the bowl here, and then we're going to flip them up in the bowl when they're hot, nice and hot. We'll get them sauced up, and then we'll get them out back on the grill here. So that's our plan for today. We'll be right back. We're going to go ahead and check these. All right, looks like we're starting to get nice and cooked. Just want to make sure we don't burn on each side. Definitely don't want to get them too burned, too cooked. Now we'll go ahead and flip them. So we get the other side going here. All right, here we go. All right, so we're about halfway through. I would say we're about halfway through the cook. And then we'll come right back. All right, I think we're about temp. Let me go ahead and check this temperature. All right, so we're about 140 there, 140 there. All right, we're a little bit more than I would like. I wanted to get to about 130, but we're at 140, so we're still okay. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take some of these wings off of here, put them in this bucket. And I'm going to I'm going to divide these wings the way they are up into the different sauces that we're going to do today. So here we go. So I think this is going to be good. Good amount. Put them in this bowl. So now we got them in this bowl. So we're gonna go ahead and pour in our sauce of choice. This is the Parmesan garlic. Just put it in. So we get them in these pan. Then we're gonna go ahead and just shake them around, let them get nice and sauced, and then we'll put them right back out there. That's pretty much it. Just a nice little shake, get them nice and sauced. And we'll put them back out here. And then these will be our Parmesan garlic on this side now that they're nice and sauced. Man, you can really smell the sauce. It smells so good. All right, so we'll take that. And we're just gonna continue the rest. I like to take the bowl and rinse it out, get rid of this sauce that's in here, so we don't have any mixed sauce across. All right. There we go. Give it a little shake. We'll go get some others. Then we'll try the next sauce. What we're gonna do is we'll do the buffalo sauce next, and we'll just keep going. And this is how you sauce them. After you get them nice and cooked and get them ready to go, you just throw your sauce on there. And since I like the buffalo myself, we'll put a lot of buffalo in here. And then we'll make those the chipotle. And that's it. And we'll just put this sauce in here. This is the Black Magic buffalo sauce. Go ahead and get these nice and sauced, like so. Get them nice and sauced. Then we're gonna go ahead and we'll put these back out there. Make sure we don't hit any of those other ones. And then the last one. These are all in here. There you go. And this is how we do our sauce on our wings at Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. Get our chipotle. Get this one. There we go. That's simple. All right, now we got them all three sauced in there. Got them ready to go. So we'll cook them for another about 15-20 minutes. That way the outside of the sauce gets nice and cooked onto and stuck to our wings. And then we'll bowl them up and we'll start eating. Thanks again for joining me at Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. Welcome back to Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. If you like this channel, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Today, we're going to give a little lesson out for Russ in Kentucky, who reached out and asked Uncle Dan, how do we do a tomahawk sear steak on the Twin Eagles? The Twin Eagles grill actually comes with an insert inside here that is designed for searing. So we're going to reverse sear today. So we take the insert in for our briskets that'll get super hot. So what we're going to do today is we're going to prep our tomahawk steak from HEB, of course. So when you're prepping a tomahawk, it's pretty basic. We start out with a little olive oil. So I like to do a little olive oil on this so that we get a nice good sear on this thing. So let me move this paper. Put some oil on the paper. Move this steak around. Just kind of get it on all sides. And then basic little salt and pepper. So today we're going to be using from our friends at Smoke Seasoned Salt. So I have some hickory smoked jalapeno salt. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on here. It's just sea salt, nicely smoked with some jalapeno. Give it a little bit of heat once we get this tomahawk nice and seasoned. Then I go with the traditional pepper, just some medium cracked pepper. Just cover the steak. Okay. Get it on the end here. So I'm going to let this sit. So I like to do this a little bit before while we get the grill up to speed. So we're going to let that salt sit in. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of kosher, just to let this salt get inside that meat. Usually I'll let it sit for about an hour or so out here. Let's let this salt start getting into the meat. The meat's starting to warm up before we put it on the grill. So let's let it sit an hour and we'll be right back. All right, now we got our tomahawk rested for about an hour. So I like to take a probe, just a meat probe. And so I'm looking for our tomahawk. So we're gonna cook it on the Twin Eagles on 250 till we get the internal temperature of this tomahawk to about 130. And so I like it kind of medium rare. So we're gonna get it to 130, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn up the Twin Eagles to 700 degrees, and then we're gonna use that sear plate. So I got our probe in, so let's go ahead and put her on here. We're just going to set it off to the side. It's not going to be over the sear plate. We're going to use probe 1, put it in here, and so we're going to wait until that internal temperature gets to about, like I said, 130, and then we'll come back and give it its nice reverse sear. All right, now we got our probe. We're at 130, so let's take our tomahawk off, and we're going to kick up the Twin Eagles to sear mode, and we're going to get to about 700 degrees under those briskets, and then we're going to seal all the flavor in here. So our reverse sear, so we're almost done. So let's get this grill going up to 700 and we'll start searing. All right, we got our Twin Eagles up to 700 degrees, so we're going to start our sear process right here in the middle underneath the briskets. So we're going to leave it there for about 30 seconds. I'm going to create those nice brown hash marks on it. Just watching the timer. Okay, here we go. All right, now we're going to move it so we get a nice crosshatch on that tomahawk. Then we're going to seal all those juices in on our reverse sear. And the good thing about the Twin Eagles is it's got this little timer here that tells you how long it's running. So now you can hear it getting back up to that temp, that fan kicking in. Getting a nice burn sear on that tomahawk steak. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to flip it. All right, so now we're going to sear the other side. Doesn't take that long, about 30 seconds on each side, just to get that nice burnt sear part on the meat. And I'm just watching the timer. I'm gonna make this tomahawk medium. All right, so we're gonna flip it. We're gonna hash it this way. Then we'll take it off here in another 30 seconds and we'll go inside and we'll cut it open. And that's how you reverse sear a tomahawk steak on the Twin Eagles 36-inch pellet grill. Okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. And there you go. Nice sear, crosshatch on this tomahawk. You can see this side and this side. As you can see the nice sear. We'll go inside and we'll cut her open. Thanks again for watching Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. Welcome back to Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. If you like this channel, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Today we're going to be doing mango habanero chicken lollipops. We got our habaneros, we got our mangoes, some spices, some olive oil. So the first thing we're going to do is prep the chicken and get ready. So get a chicken leg, and then right at the bottom of the meat, you want to cut in a circular motion as you roll that chicken. And so this is, first we're gonna prep these lollipops. And so here's the bottom of this chicken. And then we wanna get it to where there's some tendons. You wanna make sure you cut those tendons off. And then once you get it cut, you wanna just take the chicken and push down where you can get them right on the end here. Just pull that skin right over the end. Get that off of there. Get it nice and cleaned up. And it comes off pretty easy. And if you get these tendons like this, you just want to make sure you cut them off. Right? Make sure they're not hanging out there. And then you want to pull the meat down at the end like so. So you get all the so your lollipop, as we smoke these. So today we're going to be using apple wood smoke on the 36-inch pellet Twin Eagles grill. So you want to get this like this. So the first thing is we're going to prep. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these chickens ready. All right, we got our lollipops all trimmed up, nice and good. So here's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little olive oil and we're just going to blast them with a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm going to rub the olive oil. So I have a little bit of spices here, just to give them a little bit of color before we put them in the apple wood and get them smoked. So I have some paprika, salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic. And so what I want to do is I'm going to put a little bit of these, I'm going to dust them with a little salt, paprika, get them a little dusted, get them all ready to go. Just a nice little dusting before we put them on the grill. All right, there you go. So now our lollipops are ready for smoke them. So we're going to smoke them for about 225 till they're about 160 inside. And once we get the temperature 160, we'll measure it with our instant thermometer. And so we want to cook them on 225 under apple wood, and so we get to 165 temperature. So I'm going to go get the grill ready. All right, here we go. We're going to make the habanero sauce now. So the first thing we're going to do is we got the Twin Eagles up to 400 degrees. We got our habaneros nice and cleaned, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put these peppers on the grill at 400. And we're just going to try to start roasting these peppers over that apple wood so that we can get them ready for our sauce. So, all right, we want to start our habanero. So we're going to take some olive oil and onions, and we're going to just saute these onions and some olive oil, and we're going to let them caramelize over medium heat as we check on our habaneros. You know, a couple minutes on each side of these habaneros just to get them nice and grilled. So we're going to turn those real quick. Let those stay at 400. We're going to start these sauteing. All right, our onions are starting to saute here. Once we get these sauteed, then I'll put on the habaneros. And I'll put all the ingredients linked down in the bottom just so you have them, so you know how this goes. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and, so we're gonna move these habaneros. We're gonna put them in here. Start getting them in here. All right, so we got our nice smoked habaneros. So we're gonna cook these on down. Then we're gonna put the rest of our sauce together. We got our onions, habanero. Here's a spoon of garlic. Get that roasting. So we got our onions. Now we're gonna get our garlic. Nice and warm in here. Smells great already. Okay, get it fried up. All right, now we got our garlic in. We're gonna go ahead and add. All right, now we're gonna put in our mangoes. Get our mangoes in here. Start getting these cooked down. Get our mangoes nice and cooked. Then we're gonna glaze the pan with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Just so it covers the bottom. Mix this around. Get this going. Keep those onions nice and ready to go. All right, the Twin Eagles. I'm used to the Masterville. So we got our lollipops now. We're gonna put them on here. Start getting these smoked with our apple wood. Put them on here. Give them some space. All right, so now we got our chicken on. Ooh, this lollipop's a little crooked. So now we'll let them start smoking. At 275, we're gonna smoke at 275 for an hour while we're gonna go ahead and make our sauce. Okay, so now we're gonna add a little bit of lime juice. Our brown sugar. All right. And our mango nectar. Okay. Let this cook up. All right, now we got our sauce. So it's been 30 minutes simmering here. Nice, and see how these mangoes are starting to get nice and soft. These habaneros started cooking down into our sauce. So we're gonna take it off now. We're gonna let it cool, and then we're gonna blend it up. And we're gonna use this as our baster. So let's go do that. So I'm gonna turn it off here, and we're gonna take it and let's go let it get cool. All right, now we got the habanero sauce. It's been nice and cooled off. So now we're gonna go ahead and blend it. Get it all ready as our marinade. Depends on how thick you like it, how thin you like it. Starting to get thick. You want to get all that chunked up in there. You want to make a nice, good sauce because we're going to dip our lollipops in this when we're done. All right. There we go. So now we have our mango habanero sauce. Right, we reached the 165 mark, so now we're going to put some butter on these. That's going to, it's going to help us when we start to put our mango sauce that we made earlier. Just give these a nice little blanch of butter. I took a half a stick of butter and I melted it in the microwave. So we're just gonna get these all, just a little quick blanch of butter, like so. I'm gonna give it 15 more minutes, then we're gonna go ahead and put them in the, then we're gonna sauce them. All right, here we go. So now I'm gonna take our habaneros sauce. I'm gonna dip our lollipops in there, just like so. Get these nice and dipped with our sauce. And this is how you make the mango habanero lollipops. You gotta dip the lollipops in the sauce. Always use a nice glove because it's pretty hot. Just like so, get them nice and coated. Just nice and dipped. All right, last one. And then I'm going to barbecue sauce these other ones for Mommy. For the non-heaters in the family, I'm going to go ahead and just some Sweet Baby Rays, get them nice and sauced, and then I'll spread it. I'll just baste it a little bit, make sure these get some sauce. Get them nice and covered with some Baby Ray barbecue sauce. There we go. Looking good. Looking good. All right. And we'll let them cook for another 15 minutes till the outside of that sauce gets nice and golden brown. Welcome back to Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. If you like this channel, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Today we're going to be doing some easy peel shrimp out on the Masterbuilt 800. So basically we're going to just peel the outside of the shell. We're going to leave the tail on. That way we're going to use that for a handle later as we feast on these shrimp. Then we're going to take butter. So we're going to easy peel them, wash them off, nice cold water, wash off the shrimp. We'll put some butter on there, and then we're going to be using Kinder's buttery steakhouse. It's a nice blend of spices I like to use on my shrimp. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these all peeled, and we'll get the Masterbuilt 800 fired up to temp, and we'll start cooking our shrimp. All right, now we got the shrimp washed off, peels off. We're gonna put some butter on these things. Just throw some butter in here. It depends on how much you like. I usually put, maybe a cup of butter in here. The squeezed butter, the parquet, so it makes it nice and easier. And then what happens is our seasoning, we'll throw our seasoning on here, and then it'll stick to that butter, and so that seasoning will then stick to our shrimp as we grill it, and then that way we get a nice seasoned on our grilled shrimp. So this is how we're gonna do it. So I get it about this much, and then I just take a spoon. We're gonna move this around, make sure the butter gets evenly across all the shrimp, and we'll just do this for a couple minutes until we get it right. I don't really know all the quantities, but so still need a little bit more butter. So we'll continue to add butter, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're ready. Here we go. Get that. All right. Get rid of this one. Okay, nice and buttered. Some of this butter is going to cook off, so it's okay if you add a little too much. It's really more for the flavor of the shrimp as we cook them. All right. All right, so there we go. So that's what it looks like. It's got our seasoning on there with our butter, and we'll get the Masterbuilt up to temperature. We'll cook it at 350 so that the outside gets a nice red color on these shrimp, and I'll go get the grill ready. All right, we got the Masterbuilt 800 up to 350. We're gonna go ahead and put our shrimp on. Get them nice and throw them on here. Get them nice cooking. I have some sockeye salmon that I'm doing for the team. Get these on here. All right, there we go. And we'll start cooking them up.
BBQ. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you like this channel. Today we're going to be making some Texas style back pork ribs. We're going to rub it with our famous barbecue sauce from Smoked Seasoning. We're going to put that on here. We're going to rub it out. We're going to get the Masterbuilt 800 fired up to about 225. So we're going to use the 3-2-1 method. So the first 3 hours, we're gonna smoke with our cherry wood after we season. And then we're gonna take the ribs after 3 hours, we're gonna wrap it in aluminum foil. Then we're gonna put some apple juice along the bottom. So then we're gonna steam that apple juice inside the meat for another 2 hours. And then we'll take them off. We'll put them on the grill for 1 more hour, and we'll use some barbecue sauce on the ribs. So for us to prepare the ribs, we're gonna take off the membrane. And how you do that is just with a simple knife, a butter knife, and you get underneath the membrane here. And then once you get underneath that membrane, the best way to do this is to get a piece of paper towel, and you just grab the membrane with that paper towel, and you just pull it down the back of your ribs. And so, there we go. So we'll get this membrane off of here. And that allows our ribs to be a little bit more free. And so, so we're gonna do that. This other one already has the membrane. When I got them from HEB, it already had the membrane pulled off of these. So it doesn't look like we have to get this on here. We could try. Yeah, it looks like it's just down to the bone. So they did it pretty good. Looks like they pulled it off for us.
So you just gotta check. Sometimes they'll pull it off, sometimes they won't. But in this case, you know how to do it if you need to. So we're gonna do that. So first thing we're gonna do is get our ribs nice and seasoned with our seasoning salt. So I'm gonna do the front sides first and take this cap off here, since we're gonna use quite a bit of this. And just kind of rub it in to the ribs. If there's fatty areas that you don't want, just trim them off. You can trim off the fat areas. What I like to do is just slow cook that fat, and then I'll trim it off at the end. That way I get some of the flavor inside the ribs with that fat on there. Some people trim it off before. I just leave it on there. Gives it a nice, good coat. And then just rub it in. And I'm gonna let these sit with the rub on them for, 15, 20 minutes while I get the grill fired up to temperature. And you wanna do both sides, which is a good thing. So we get these seasoned. One of the things I am gonna do a little different today than I normally do, just I'm gonna add some lime sugar flavoring. And so, smoked seasoning and salts, they make this lime sugar. So they do the infused lime inside the sugar. It comes like this in the thing. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this today, and I'm just gonna put some lime sugar over the top, just to add a little bit of lime flavor inside the meat, and that sugar will make our ribs nice and flavorful. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this. Okay. Some people use brown sugar in their rub. I'm gonna use this lime infused sugar on these ribs. Give it that nice sweetness, that nice caramelized top. Give it a nice, good look, nice flavor. And I'm gonna only do this sugar on the meat side of the ribs, not on the underside. And so there we go. So our ribs are nice and ready. I'm gonna let them sit with the rub for 10, 15 minutes while I get the master build up to 225. And like I said, today we're gonna be using cherry wood. Nice cherry smoke flavor inside of our meat. All right, we got our cherry wood from HEB smoked chunks. We got them in the hopper. We're gonna start getting up to 225 degrees. We're at 221, so I think we're in good shape here. We're gonna go ahead and move these ribs over to the grill here. Okay, we're gonna put them bone side down. There we go. So, there we go. So now we're gonna let that cherry wood go for 3 hours. 3-hour mark on our ribs. Wow, look at that. So nice. We're gonna take these ribs and stick it on our aluminum foil, just like this, and then we're gonna fold it up like so, and we're gonna put our apple juice in here so we can start nice apple juice over the top. I'm just gonna fold this up, seal that apple juice in, like so. We're gonna it nice and covered, nice and tight, so that apple juice just cooks in there. We'll turn the master build up to about 275, and we'll put it back on a grill for another 2 hours. All right, we're at the 2-hour mark of stage 2. Now we got the final stage. We got some sweet baby back rays on these ribs. It's literally falling off the bone. As you can see, this meat's just starting to fall off the bone. So we're gonna leave it on here for a little bit more, let this sweet baby ribs barbecue sauce get on here and caramelize, and then we'll be ready to eat. Welcome back to Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. Today we're going to be making some shish kebabs at the family's request. We have some shrimp, we have some filet mignon, we got some chicken, some salmon. Obviously the salmon's for my wife, she loves to have salmon. So we're going to make some shish kebabs today. We're going to have some corn, tomatoes. We're going to make a nice honey chicken with our apple or our pineapples. So that's going to be good. We're also going to make the family recipe with our baby red potatoes. They like them nice and spicy, so we're going to make that. We're going to start with this shrimp here. We have some sweet barbecue that we're going to use on the shrimp, and we're going to get this all ready to go. Get it all skewered up, then we'll come back. So we're going to take some avocado oil and just go a little bit over the top of this shrimp. And we're going to take our sweet barbecue, Texas style barbecue. We're going to stir these up nice. We're going to skew it with some sausage on it. Let's get this nice and get these shrimp all with the rub. And we're going to go ahead after we get these shrimp all marinated. And I chose to use the avocado oil because it has a higher heat point than say, you know, extra virgin olive oil. I like avocado oil better, especially when I'm grilling. We're gonna grill today about 400 degrees, so I wanna make sure that we get a nice heat point on that. So we're gonna take the shrimp, get our skewer here. We're gonna go right through here. Then in each one of these shrimp, we're gonna put a sausage in between. And then on the back side of this shrimp, we'll put the tail. And in that way, we'll get a bunch of shrimp on here, and then we'll do another one. And then you just want to repeat, right? Put some smoked sausage, any kind of sausage really. My family really likes bratwurst. So, you know, you can put bratwurst on here, but this is what it's going to look like. It's going to get all seasoned up. So we're going to take a minute, and we'll be right back after we're done skewing them all. Now that we got the sausage and the shrimp on the skewers, we're going to move on to, we're going to get some salmon. So for the salmon, let me set this back here. So for the salmon, we're going to put a little bit more avocado oil on the salmon, right? And then we're going to mix in some little oil into our mix here. So here we have some dill, some garlic, a little butter powder, and we're gonna go ahead and get this mixed up here. We're gonna put this on our salmon. We're gonna mix it around our salmon, get that all in there. And then we're gonna make it, we're gonna put it on the skewer. And so for the salmon, we're gonna do a little bit different. We're gonna put some lime on each side of the salmon, some onions, some tomatoes. These are some really good sugar bomb tomatoes, so it'll give you kind of a you know, a sour taste with some of the dill that's in here, with a little sweetness from those tomatoes, little peppers. We also have some zucchini in here. I'll put some zucchini on each side. So let me go off and I'll make that and I'll show you guys. Be right back. Our salmon put on here. We got our salmon on the skewers with a couple onions. I put the limes in there. I like to keep the lime next to the salmon with the dill, the butter. Gives a nice, good flavor taste. So now that we have our salmon done, we're gonna move on to our chicken. So chicken, we're gonna go with a sweet chicken. So we're gonna put some honey on the chicken, a little sprinkle. We're gonna do pineapple. So we'll take some chicken like this. We'll skew the chicken, and then we're gonna put pineapples on each side of our chicken, and so that gives it a nice little sweet flavor. We're gonna drip some of that honey on there, put a little bit of seasoning on here. I think maybe depending on the honey, but I think the honey is gonna do well. So we're gonna put the pineapple on each side of this chicken, and we're gonna keep. Now we have our salmon on the skewers, our lemons, a couple peppers, a couple zucchini. Got the nice butter with dill on our salmon. So now that we're done with the salmon, we're gonna go over to our chicken. And so today we're gonna use some chicken, make it a nice sweet chicken. So we're gonna take some chicken, we're gonna use honey, a little bit of honey. On each side of the chicken, we're gonna use pineapple. So we're gonna take some pineapple chunks, we're gonna put that on the skewer next to our chicken and make a nice little sweet chicken with the honey on there. So we're gonna continue to do that. Moving on to the vegetables. So I have the vegetables on the skewers, and I'm gonna go ahead and take care of these vegetables. So what I like to do is I like this parquet squeeze butter, put it on the corn, each one of the corn on the stalk here. It's nice and cold. Put some butter on here for the corn. And then so for the vegetables, I like to take Italian dressing just over the top of these vegetables. Let them get some Italian dressing on these vegetables. Adds a nice little salad kind of taste on these vegetables. And we'll let those sit, and we'll come back to this. For a little salt, obviously you can't have corn without some salt and pepper on that corn. When that butter starts melting, when we get it on the grill there, that corn will come out super duper nice. So here we are with our vegetable skewers. We're gonna move on to, now that we have the vegetables done, we're gonna get some beef on here. Let's get our meat. So I have a little seasoning here. This is Steaks butter sauce. It has garlic, little different herbs. So what I like to do with this is I use the avocado oil again. You know, obviously we're grilling, so I like to use avocado oil. So we're gonna take the steak, dip it in there, get it nice and seasoned. Obviously, you know, put some onions on there. On this side, we'll throw some mushroom on. Get some mushrooms, get in between that steak. Obviously, you want to have some peppers with your steak. Get that on there. Take another piece of steak. This is some really good steak. Go with some more onions. Keep it down to about 2 per each ring of your onion. That way you can actually use more of it, and it creates a nice little seal around your steak. So as it's cooking, that flavor of the onions gets put into that meat. So we'll continue to do this, and I will continue skewing these up, and I'll show you these as soon as I get done skewing. Okay, now we got our steak on the skewers, got our corn with our butter, salt and pepper. We got different varieties, you know, zucchini, green peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers. Got our sugar bomb tomatoes. So now we got our steak skewers done. And then we're gonna move on to the last for our meal today. So I've got some baby red potatoes. I had them sitting in water with some salt to suck all the starch out, washed them off. So now it's ready to make some potatoes. So take the red potatoes out, pepper, salt. I like to throw in a little bit of garlic that's here. So we'll put a little bit of garlic on that, just to add a little garlic flavor. And then obviously you can't have Uncle Dan's backyard potatoes without a lot of paprika. So we'll get some paprika, a little smoked paprika on here. Not a little, a lot of smoked paprika. Get that on here. Then I'm just gonna take some butter. I'm gonna slice the butter and I'll put it in here. Then we're gonna wrap this up. We'll put it on the grill, close it so that it keeps all the moisture in, get the potatoes nice and soft. Then we'll open it up, let the steam out, then we're gonna fry them on the grill. So this is kind of how the potatoes are done. There's a little bit of that. We're gonna take some onions, a little bit of onions, left over from our skewer onions, put that in there. And this is, if you like it spicy, you can also put some cayenne pepper instead of the paprika if you like to add some nice heat to it. Then we'll wrap it up, we'll get it ready to go, and I'll start it back up. Let me go start it. All right, we're outside now. Got the Masterbuilt 800 set to 400 degrees. We're gonna put on, so I just started to put on the chicken. We'll get the chicken going on here. I had a request for a little barbecue sauce on these chickens, so I threw a little bit of barbecue sauce on there. So we're starting to get this going now that we're at 400 on the barbecue. Get the shrimp going on here. The lemon fill. Yep. And the salmon is flaking off. Falling apart. Oops. Now that we have the shrimp done, the salmon done, and the chicken, we're gonna move on to the vegetables now. And we're gonna put these vegetables on the high rack just to start getting them warm. And we're gonna go bring out the steak and get that ready. So right now I'm just gonna put these on here. steaks. We'll get those going on here. Get the steaks cooking. Oh, look at those. Looks so good. Can't wait to bite into one of these. Alright, just like that. Let's squeeze that in here. Alright, now we got the steaks on. Got our vegetable ones on. Butter's starting to melt. Here we go. That butter on there. Looking good. Ready? Action. Okay. Ooh, batatas. These potatoes are looking really good. Starting to get a little color. All right, now we're finalizing the potatoes. We're trying to get the potatoes nice and burnt. We got it all spread out. Starting to get the potatoes hard on the outside. That butter started to make these potatoes. We're gonna crank up the grill to about 500 degrees, and we'll get these potatoes nice and brown. And this will be the thing, and we'll show you what it looks like. Here we go. Now we're getting the potatoes nice and golden brown. Starting to get a crust on the potatoes with that butter. Here we go. Looking very good. Turn the grill up to about 500 degrees now with that nice charcoal flavor coming onto these potatoes. Starting to get a little black spots in here. Looking really good. We will be done here shortly. Look at that. Starting to get burned. Starting to create those crunchy. I know the kids love it. they usually fight over. There's a little brown spot. Kids fight over the potatoes. Which ones get all the burnt ones? So we'll keep continuing to make these burn. Spread them out. Get them nice and golden brown. Here we go. All right, there we go. Looking done. There we go. All right, there's the potatoes. Nice burnt onions. Coming right now. All right, we have our steak, we have the salmon, shrimp, our vegetables, and our honey chicken, along with our baby potatoes. This is what it looks like. Thank you again for visiting Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue.
If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Welcome, folks, to Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. Today, we're going to be slow smoking a Texas brisket. We got a pretty big brisket. We got a 14-pound brisket from our HEB. Prime beef, has good marble in it. So we got the brisket, got our gloves, take care of the brisket. We got our boning knife as we're gonna trim this fat. I'm gonna show you how to trim the brisket. We have our slicer knife, so when we're done, we can slice it and have a nice eat. Got a spray bottle. I'll show you later on as we start to smoke. Got some Worcestershire sauce, so we'll do a nice blend there. That way we get a nice good bark on this. We got our salt and pepper all in here, so once we grind it, we'll season it and we'll get it ready to go. So let me get this out of the bag and we'll get started. All right, we got it out of the bag. Got all this fat on the fat cap here. All this fat, so we're gonna start trimming this up. We're gonna cut the fat cap off, get this off of here, right? And then what I like to do is, I like to save this so that we can slow this down and we'll use this later in our cook. So once I get this all off of here, get this thing trimmed up. See how this marble going through here? So we gotta get all this cleaned off of here. We'll have a nice slice of beef here. I'll cut this off. I'm gonna cut through this cap, try to get this down, get rid of this. So we'll get that fat off of there and get more of that beef, so we get the smoke going. It'll be right inside there. I'll start to All right, I like to do both sides, get the salt and pepper on here pretty heavily. That way we get a good bark. And then I'll rub it in. Some people like to put olive oil on here, some type of oil, canola oil, so that it sticks. I just like to put it on here and then take a glove and squeeze it into the meat. Tamp it down. It's kind of wet, so get it all
ready for the bark. It's also pretty good. We'll get this thing nicely seasoned. Smells good. Already hungry. Make sure you get the sides really good too. It's important for the bark. Get it pretty good. All right, there we go. Let it sit a few minutes. We'll while this is resting, we'll go start the barbecue and get ready to put her on. All right, we got our Masterbuilt 800 up to 250 degrees, and got the probe right here in the middle of the flat. So we're gonna go ahead and put it with the cap side down on the grill. I like to put this towards the heat side. Put this end where the heat comes in. Got the thermometer in here. We'll go ahead and get this cooking till we get to about 185 degrees. We've been about a 2 hour. Ooh, we got the nice color on that brisket. Looking like a good color. About 2 hours in, I'm gonna start the, I just took some Worcestershire sauce and made a 50-50 mix with some water. And so we're going to take some Worcestershire sauce and spray on this brisket. And a nice little All right, I'm coming in, checking our fat. So what we did was we took a lot of the brisket trimmings that we had. We took it off, we put it on the stove here, very slow cooking. And what we're trying to do is melt this fat. And we're gonna melt this fat because we're gonna reuse this over the top of our brisket once we get ready to wrap it with butcher's paper. So getting this fat, down to liquid form so we can reuse that and keep our brisket nice and moist. All right, we're about 7 hours in, and I got some apple cider vinegar in here that just making sure it's nice and covered. Almost time to wrap. So we got about 5 more degrees. Then we're gonna take it in, we're gonna wrap it, and we'll seal her up. I brought it in off the grill. It's the right temperature, 185 degrees. We're gonna take out the probe here, and we're gonna wrap it. I'm gonna show you how to wrap this. Now, the secret is, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna move it to here, just put it on here, just like this, okay? And so we took the trimmings, the fat trimmings, and we melted it down, and now we got the oil from the fat trimming. So we're gonna use this to go across the brisket, keep all that flavor in. We got the flavor from all the fat. We're gonna oil this up. Nice, get it all oiled. Okay. Then we're gonna wrap this brisket back up here. And then, we got the oil on there. We're gonna take it, we're gonna wrap it. Keep folding. Get it nice and tight. Okay. Like a present. this nice and tight. Wrap it again. You see that oil? It's getting sucked right into the butcher's paper. Okay. We're going to take it like this and we're going to go set it back out on the grill. So we've taken the brisket out of our paper wrap, which we've had resting for about an hour now. So now it's time to cut in and see how juicy this, oh my God, look at this. Oh man, look at this. Just, this knife slides through it like butter. Oh, it's falling apart here. Look at that. Look at that nice smoke ring around here. Oh, I can't wait. Look how juicy. See the juice in there? Oh man, all the juice on top. It's gonna... Look at that. Look at that brisket. Beautiful. Thanks again for visiting Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. Welcome back to Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue. This video we're going to be making pulled pork for some pulled pork sandwiches tomorrow, but we need to make a dry rub on it overnight tonight. We're going to use some mustard. We got some ingredients in here: brown sugar, kosher salt, chili powder, garlic, onions, some black pepper, and 3/4 cup of paprika. So first I'm going to make this dry rub. I'm going to put it all together. I'm going to mix it up really good. And then what we're going to do is the night before we're going to make our pulled pork sandwiches, we're going to let this marinate and rest overnight with some saran wrap, some mustard. So I'm going to mix this up here really good. And what I like to do is I have a Tupperware that anything I don't use, I just put it in the Tupperware and I'll reuse it later so you don't have to waste it. So I'm going to make this dry rub, and then I'm going to put some mustard on this pork shoulder. We're going to rub it in, then we're going to wrap it up in saran wrap. We're going to seal it real tight, and we're going to let it rest overnight, and then tomorrow we'll put it on the barbecue. All right, I'll put some mustard on here. Put some of this dry rub on here. Move this over here. We'll start out getting some dry rub on this. Season pretty liberal because we're going to wrap it up overnight anyway. So what I like to do is put a lot of the seasoning on here and make sure we rub it in here. And these chef gloves really help so you don't get all this mustard stuck to your hands. So we'll get this rubbed in here really nice. Get some mustard on the sides here. Get that nice and on the sides. This mustard helps this rub to stick. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll flip this over, down. Spray some of this butter on, this mustard on here. Fantastic. All right. Get this rubbed in. Just nice and rubbed. Touch it. All right. Get both sides nice and rubbed. I'll get these edges, and we'll get it all wrapped up here. Let it sit overnight. Make some nice bead on here. All right, then we just wrap it up in saran wrap and we stick it in the refrigerator overnight, and then when we come back tomorrow morning, we will basically be ready to go. All right, so we let our pork rest overnight. I had it nice and wrapped up with saran wrap. Looks like it's got some good color. Turned to Masterbuilt 800 to 225. I'm gonna unwrap this. We're gonna use a probe today. Get it about, I'm gonna say 190 inside temperature, and then we'll take it off. We'll put it in some butcher's paper. We'll wrap it, and we'll get to inside temperature to about 205, and then our pulled pork will be ready to take off. So we're gonna start our barbecue, get it ready to go. All right, for this pulled pork, I'm gonna use some apple wood. We're gonna throw some chunks in this hopper. I got it warming up, getting ready. So let me go ahead and fill this hopper with some apple wood. And you can use apple wood, you can use whatever kind of smoke flavor you want. It really depends on what your rub is. My family really likes the apple wood or cherry. So I'm gonna throw some apple in here. I'm gonna fill up our hopper with some charcoal. Get it ready. Get this going in here. Now that we got it ready, we'll get her smoking. And that's, so we got our apple wood on, and we'll start getting ready for our pulled pork sandwiches. All right, here we are out at the Masterbuilt 800. We got our temperature running up here, set to 225. It's at 224. We got probe 1 working. Here's what she looks like on the grill. Got our pork shoulder ready to go, and we're gonna let it sit here for a couple hours, come back and check the inside temperature. We'll use the Wi-Fi connection for our Masterbuilt 800, and we'll continue to check what that temperature is. We wanted to get it to about 190. All right, this is what it looks like on the iPhone. Temperature reading on the Wi-Fi is 165. Looks like we need to go out there and start putting our apple vinegar spray on, so we'll go do that. All right, we're at the 6.5 hour mark, and we're starting to get a nice crust on here. I have some vinegar, some apple cider vinegar with a half and half of water, and we're just gonna go ahead and continue to baste it, get it nice and wet. We're at about 165 degree temperature inside, so we're still waiting to get to that 190 mark before we start our butcher paper wrap. Get a nice good coat on there. We're starting to get a nice good bark, so looking good. All right, here we go. We're at the 160 or the 195 mark, so I'm going to take it off. I let it go a little too long. We're going to put it on the butcher's paper. I'm going to wrap it up, and then we're going to put it back on. So let me wrap this thing up nice and tight. Let me get this probe out of here. So I want to keep it nice and tight, like just wrapping it like a Christmas present. Although if you ask my kids, I don't wrap this good for Christmas. Okay. Wrap this up nice and tight on the butcher's paper. Then we'll put it back on here in the butcher's paper, and I'm gonna turn it over nice and tight on that butcher's paper. Put the probe back in. All right, I got the temperature read of 202 from the Masterbuilt 800. We're gonna give a little test, see what we're at here. Man, it goes in like butter. 193, 193. Ooh, 211, 200. All right, we're about 193. We're gonna stay at that. We're gonna wait till it gets up to 202. All right, here we go. Let's take another reading, see what we got. Oh, 202. Ooh, 208. 201. 206. 201. Out here on the end, 206. All right, so it's ready to go. So we're gonna take this out of the probe. Get her out of here. We're gonna let it rest. All right, now we have our pork shoulder here. We're gonna get it out of the butcher's paper. We're gonna migrate it from this butcher's paper into this glass bowl here where we'll start to pull this thing apart here. Still a little hot. I let it sit. Look at this. I literally can just break it off here as I'm moving it over. Just in chunks as it's coming off this bone that's here. I'll try to keep it together. Move this over here and just kind of twist it, and we'll make pulled pork. We'll pull it apart. Look at that. Look at that. Just falling apart. Literally just falling apart. Nice ring. Look at that smoke on that meat. Looking real good. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take these, put these biscuits in the oven, get them nice and brown. We're gonna strip this pork out of here, throw on this shrimp. I'm gonna make some shrimp on the barbecue for the family. And then we're gonna put this in some sandwiches and take a little bit of barbecue sauce and put it over the top. And then we're gonna eat. All right, we took it out of the butcher's paper, split it all up. I'm gonna continue to split this. And if you look, you can see the nice smoke flavor on the outsides of this. Nice, good applewood smoke into this pork shoulder. Took out the bone, pretty big bone. Give that to the dog later, he'll love it. And then I'm gonna put put this bread in the oven here. We're gonna get the bread nice and hot and crusted. Then we'll go ahead and take that bread, put it in here, put some your favorite barbecue sauce, put it on there, and you have your pulled pork sandwiches. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for next week. Thanks for joining me at Uncle Dan's Backyard Barbecue.